You hire these women, you hire these hookers, but you just bring your camera. I guess you don't even have to. You have your cell phone on you now. And you just say to the cops, now hold on. It's like, sir, were you soliciting this woman for sex? Yes, officer, but I was going to film it and upload it to the internet. Oh, well, in that case, you're good to go. Have a nice night. So now that's the argument Diddy's legal team is going to make. Now, I couldn't imagine. I don't think it's this far gone. If it is, then God bless us. I can't imagine a situation where Trump is actually going to pardon Maxwell or pardon Diddy. There's no way. And I know he's got a relationship with both of them. And I know they're both making a play, but there's no way. And if he is going to do it, it's not going to be till the end. But even then, I don't think so. I think it's way too messy. It's way too of a political negative thing to do. So I don't think that will happen. But I could see, yeah, okay. Tell you what, Maxwell, you testify and you say what we want you to say. We'll move you to a Fed camp. You can get out of here. You can get some of your freedoms back. You can go play some pickleball, go play some tennis, not have to deal with the nasty prison clothes and getting cuffed for all your movements and everything like that. You know, get off of the metal cot that you. It's like we can. Yeah, okay. So I could see that being the deal. Now, Diddy's a totally different situation, but tell me how he loses this argument now. Tell me how he loses this argument. You charged me with prostitution, with soliciting and prostitution, but I was filming it, so that's just pornography, and that's legal. What is the difference? What is the difference between a woman that has sex for money on camera and a woman that has sex for money not on camera? One is legal, one is not. That's ridiculous. Now, these stories are not getting much play, and it's pretty obvious why. Bloomberg, FBI redacted Trump's name in Epstein files for privacy reasons. Newsweek, Donald Trump's name in Epstein files redacted by FBI. Now, again, Bloomberg, Newsweek, fake news, so it's the boy that cried wolf. But I could see, again, I'm not insinuating Trump did anything illegal with Epstein. I genuinely believe that is true. I can't deny he was friends with Epstein, and I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, him and Epstein like to go around and find beautiful women together. But Trump, billionaire playboy, hangs out with 20-year-old, 30-year-old models. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Totally legal. So I can understand Trump saying, look, for the sake of the country, for the sake of the administration, we're trying to do good things here. And if I get implicated in this Epstein stuff, it's going to be bad for the country. So we've got to do this for the good of the country. And I believe that's what happened. And maybe that's why there's such a delay in this deal, whatever they do have, whatever they do have as far as an Epstein file is concerned, that they've been pouring through all of it and getting Trump out of it before they release anything, which is a timely process. So this is why Elon Musk said you're not getting the Epstein list because Trump is in it. And they say Bannon is in it too. Bannon did a documentary that was anti-Epstein. It's called Monsters. So yeah, Bannon was in it because he was associating with Epstein, trying to shoot this documentary, talking about the pimping that was going on. So again, it's like, oh, Bannon is on the file. Well, yeah, he was on the files because he was trying to shoot a documentary about Epstein pimping people. So does that mean Bannon was into it? No. So it's like the same with Trump. New York billionaires hanging out at the same clubs, hanging out at the same beauty pageants, have the same taste in women. It's like, so yeah, Trump's in the files. Did he do anything illegal? No, I don't believe so. So Trump just goes and says, we can release the files, but we have to get my name out of them, or it's going to be bad for the country. It's going to be bad for the administration, which is true. Which is true. Of course it would be, but that's why this whole thing is such a debacle. It would have been so much better. It's like the grab him by the pussy tape. It's like they thought that would, nobody cared. It would have been so much better for Trump to just come out and say, look, here's the deal. We're going to release the Epstein files, and my name is going to come up. I'm not proud of my association with this creep. If I had known what he was doing and what he was into at the time we were hanging out, I would have never associated with him. I would have never stepped foot on his jet. As far as I knew, he just hung out in the same social circles as I did. When you're a billionaire in New York, there's only a certain limited amount of places where you hang out. He was there too. That's it. I didn't do anything illegal. I didn't know he was doing anything illegal. When I found out what was going on at Mar-a-Lago, I kicked him out. I cooperated with the feds. Eventually, we had him arrested. And that all be true. And we could accept that, and we could consume that, and we could say, okay, President Trump, I trust you. But for him to come out and say, I didn't know him, I never associated with him, who is he anyway? Nobody cares. That's when the whole thing went downhill and the credibility issue popped up. But it's done now, so we'll see what happens with Maxwell and the virtually no security prison, and see what happens with the Diddy deal. Yeah, I mean, wait a second. We were just shooting pornography. I don't know how that doesn't work after the case is closed. Seems like pretty solid defense now. All right. By the way, it turns out it was Rick Scott that gave Trump the bad word on the Holly Pelosi Act. Now, I'll tell you what, let's go to Rick Scott explaining this, or trying to explain this, but I think it's pretty clear what happened here, and it's not good. It's not good. And Rick Scott is a guy that genuinely pretty high approval rating, pretty well-trusted politician. But after this whole thing, it's like, maybe not so much. I mean, whatever. If the dirtiest thing you do is insider stock trading, you're still a crook, but like the least of the crooks. But so here he is. So it turns out it appears that it was Rick Scott that told Trump about this and blamed it all on Holly. And then I'll explain why Trump made a big thing of it. But Holly talked to him directly and said, no, this is the real story. But here's Rick Scott explaining, or attempting to, in clip 12.
As we know, we're doing this because we've watched people that it sure appears that they have somehow figured out how to make a lot of money off their job up here in Congress. So my amendment is to get a review of all the trading by Nancy Pelosi and her husband for the last 25 years. I think it's critical to get to the root of why this bill was proposed and get transparency for the American people. I think, I agree that we've got to figure out, why people don't trust. And I think Speaker Pelosi is the prime example. So this amendment calls for an inspector general to issue a GAO report on the Pelosi trading for the last 25 years with a report back to the committee within 180 days. I urge my colleagues to support my amendment.
So Holly comes out with the Pelosi Act and says it's time to end stock trading in Congress, which also opens up potential for a review of stock trades in D.C., which wasn't targeting President Trump, but it was targeting D.C. and Congress. Now, why this bothered Rick Scott so much, I don't know. And you can hear him, you can assume, but you can hear him saying, oh, no, we're just going to make this about Pelosi. How about no, Rick? No, how about we make this about every single member of Congress? And maybe we should question you, actually, because this is a little weird that you want to somehow try to divert this onto Nancy Pelosi. And that apparently you called President Trump and gave him bad info on what the Pelosi Act was all about. Now, this is where it starts to get a little sticky. Remember the big, beautiful bill. And remember the dirty salesman tactics that were used. And now the stock market is at record highs. Okay? Now, I don't think I have to spell this out for you. Trump and his associates